like you. Be strong to hold the powers of the sun. To dream, believe in strength. Now I'm the only one.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Na Dior Pop. Amid BTS' exhausting schedules, the endless flashing cameras, and millions of ARMY eyes watching every tiny interaction, there was one simple moment between Jungkook and Jimin that suddenly sent the entire fandom into emotional chaos once again. It wasn't something loud. It wasn't dramatic fan service. And it wasn't even a romantic confession. It was just a small hug. But somehow, that hug felt far too soft, far too intimate, and far too full of affection for ARMY to handle. Fans immediately noticed that something about Jungkook's behavior toward Jimin that day felt different. Of course, the two have always been incredibly close. They joke around constantly, cling to each other naturally, exchange little touches without thinking, and share the kind of comfort that can only exist between people who deeply understand one another. But this time, Jungkook's energy felt unusually gentle, more careful, more protective. And everything started when fans realized that Jimin didn't seem to be feeling very well. Even though he still wore his beautiful smile, ARMY could tell his energy was lower than usual. His movements looked slower, his laughter softer, and every now and then he seemed to pause quietly as if trying to hide his discomfort. Most people probably wouldn't have noticed it, but Jungkook did. And honestly, that alone made fans emotional. Because without anyone explaining anything, without Jimin even saying he was tired or sick, Jungkook somehow seemed to understand immediately just by looking at him. One small expression, one tiny change in Jimin's body language, and Jungkook already knew something was wrong. After that, fans couldn't stop noticing how closely Jungkook kept watching Jimin. While the other members were talking and joking around, Jungkook's eyes kept drifting back toward him as if he was silently checking whether Jimin was okay. Even when Jimin tried to act normal, Jungkook still looked worried. Then came the moment that completely destroyed ARMY. A video captured Jungkook slowly walking toward Jimin from the side. There was nothing dramatic about it. No loud reaction. No attempt to draw attention. Just Jungkook quietly opening his arms and gently pulling Jimin into a warm embrace. And the way he hugged him instantly made fans lose their minds. It wasn't one of their playful hugs. It wasn't a quick fan service moment for cameras either. Jungkook held Jimin so carefully, almost like he was afraid of making him feel worse. His arms wrapped around Jimin with incredible softness, while his face rested slightly near Jimin's shoulder as if he simply wanted him to feel safe. But what made the moment even more emotional was Jimin's reaction. The second Jimin melted into Jungkook's embrace, his entire body seemed to relax. As if all the exhaustion he had been trying to hide suddenly faded away the moment Jungkook held him close. And for a few quiet seconds, Jimin didn't move. He just stayed there, letting Jungkook hold him, letting himself be comforted. That tiny moment immediately exploded across social media. Fans kept replaying the clip over and over because the atmosphere between them felt so different. There was concern in Jungkook's eyes. There was tenderness in the way he touched Jimin. And there was something heartbreakingly genuine about how naturally he tried to take care of him. Many ARMY even said Jungkook looked exactly like someone who couldn't bear seeing the person he loves feeling unwell. And honestly, it was hard to disagree. Because the longer people watched the video, the more obvious it became that Jungkook's entire attention was focused on Jimin. He didn't seem aware of the cameras around him. He wasn't trying to create a viral moment. It felt instinctive, like pure reflex, like someone whose first priority was simply making sure Jimin was okay. That's why fans immediately started joking, while simultaneously crying, that Jungkook was acting like Jimin's overly protective boyfriend. Because the energy he gave off was exactly that. Every little movement was full of care. Even after the hug ended, Jungkook kept glancing back at Jimin several times as if he still wasn't fully reassured. And somehow, Jimin looked visibly calmer after being close to him. There was also one tiny detail that absolutely shattered ARMY emotionally. When Jimin started walking a little slower, Jungkook automatically adjusted his pace to match him. Something so small. Something most people would never even notice. But for fans who have spent years watching their relationship, those tiny unconscious gestures are exactly what make their bond feel so real. Because genuine care usually appears in habits, in instincts, in little things people do without even thinking. And Jungkook seems to have all of those instincts whenever it comes to Jimin. Social media instantly flooded with emotional reactions from fans. The way Jungkook noticed Jimin wasn't feeling well immediately. He treats Jimin like the most precious person in the world. That wasn't just a hug. That was comfort. The way Jungkook looked at him actually hurts my heart. He's so protective of Jimin, it's insane. And honestly, this wasn't even the first time fans had witnessed something like this. Over the years, ARMY has repeatedly noticed how attentive Jungkook becomes whenever it comes to Jimin. Whether it's quietly helping him on stage, checking on him during exhausting schedules, staying close whenever Jimin looks tired, or unconsciously watching over him in crowded situations. Jungkook always seems especially sensitive to Jimin's condition. There's just something different about the way he looks at him. Softer, warmer, more affectionate, and sometimes almost impossibly tender. What makes fans even more emotional is the fact that Jungkook isn't usually someone who openly expresses his feelings all the time. He often hides behind jokes, acts shy, or keeps his emotions to himself. But when it comes to Jimin, that calm composure completely disappears. He becomes gentler, more attentive, more protective. And that side of him became painfully obvious during this moment. The way Jungkook held Jimin felt almost like a silent message saying, "I'm here. You don't have to endure this alone." And Jimin looked like someone who found immediate comfort in those arms without needing a single word. Maybe that's why ARMY loves their relationship so much. Because in the middle of an overwhelming industry filled with pressure, cameras, and expectations, the connection between Jungkook and Jimin feels strangely human. They take care of each other quietly. They notice small details. They stay close without needing explanations. No dramatic declarations are necessary. No words are needed. Sometimes, one soft hug is enough to reveal everything people are trying to hide. And the more fans replayed that moment, the more it felt like Jungkook truly has the softest spot in his heart for Jimin. The way he watches him when he's worried. The way he immediately moves closer without being asked. The way he hugs Jimin carefully, as if he's holding something both fragile and incredibly precious at the same time. It all felt painfully sincere. No wonder ARMY completely lost their minds over such a small interaction. Because beneath all the fandom chaos and the jokes about Jungkook being Jimin's protective boyfriend, there was something genuinely touching hidden inside that moment. Jungkook always seems to make sure Jimin never feels alone. And maybe for Jimin himself, that hug was simply another ordinary moment of comfort he's used to receiving from Jungkook. But for ARMY, it became yet another beautiful reminder of how deeply they care for each other in the quietest ways possible. A connection that never really needs explaining. Because sometimes, the way someone holds you when you're at your weakest says more than words ever could. And Jungkook did it so softly that the entire fandom fell in love with the way he silently cares for Jimin all over again. See you in the next video on Na Dior Pop. Purple Heart.